Well, hello. Um, Hi, Deborah, and Monica, and Ron, and Simona. Um, we have a relatively small group, but just the right people for this. And I must tell you, this is one of the most interesting webinar topics I've taken on in a while. I always take on new ones that challenge me. If I am God, how do I improve my RVing? Well, there are a lot of people out there that say, I am God, you are God, I'm infinite, eternal, and yet I still don't get my RVing right all the time. So there's a bit of a paradox in here, maybe a bit of a Zen thing, the way I've said this in the title. But let's see if we can unwrap that and make a bit more sense out of it. At least you'll get my thinking on I am God. That's kind of an amazing concept. So here's the agenda. I've just rephrased the topic a little bit. So I am God. How do I improve my RVing? You might ask, why do I need to improve my RVing if I'm God? And we'll get to that. So this will include the tutorial for newbies and oldies, and the techniques in this tutorial will, we believe, be to the liking of your inner God. When this is all over and private emails to me, I'd love to get some feedback from you, or even during this. And then we will actually do the learn by doing, and we'll do a prediction. And the prediction is on a baseball game that starts at 4:05. So I will have the judging done by then. And then after the game, I'll send out the feedback. So I'm God. That's an amazing title. Wisdom and Revelations from Mystical Consciousness. He explains this concept, I think, very well. But first, when I use the word God, and I believe when he used the word God, it has many synonyms: deity, divinity, supreme being, creator, all the list there. Yahoo, Allah, the Almighty, the Creator, and the list goes on. It goes back to Greek mythology. Um, and then sometimes in just casual vernacular, we'll say the man upstairs, the big guy, the boss. So it's all of those. I am God. Now, here's Robinson's explanation about the title, and the word God. I want to speak to you about any concerns you might have about this title. Is it conceit, arrogance, or violation of sacred commandments to say, I am God? Here's my response. Of course, I alone am not God. This alone would be colossal egotism. But when the idea of me dissolves in mystical consciousness, when the idea of me dissolves in mystical consciousness, what's left is God. The mystics have been telling us this for eons. I am God, and so are you. By being God in the awakened mystical experience, you awaken the full power and possibilities of divine joy, love, compassion, and revelation. Projecting this power somewhere else leaves you awaiting for the divine other to act, blocking its flow through you. For the divine other is what you already are. Wonderful, amazing concept. You are the one you have been praying to and waiting for. I believe the I am God realization is critical to the mystical activism that will one day carry humanity into its next stage of spiritual evolution. It's the best explanation I've ever heard of that, and I now shared it with you. So I think I am God, you are God, hopefully makes a bit more sense. I think it gives each of us total responsibility for ourselves. There isn't anybody else out there, no divine other to act, blocking its flow through you. For the divine other is what you already are. Okay, so infinity is in your mystical, spiritual soul. This is what he was talking about, mystical. And you are infinite, you are eternal, you are God, and more importantly, you are me. We are one. That is the ultimate spiritual concept. So being infinite, and we need to take a pause here because it's well known that there are levels of infinity, levels of infinity. So yes, you are infinite, but there are levels of that. Now, Ingo Swann had a wonderful message that speaks to this, some of this. His message to humanity was simple. We are born with limitless potentials. We are infinite. We are eternal. We are God. Limitless potentials, capable of using more than just the five senses we are told are our only senses. I think all of us understand that if we've been around a while. Healing senses, remote viewing senses, precognition senses, all of the above. And in living life, we should let go of our demons. Now, here is a key element that that acknowledges that even though we are infinite, we do have demons which came to us, who knows from where, but you can certainly imagine it in the very, very early years of our childhood, the first time our mom or dad said no or yelled at us, and for whatever it was, this brought negativity into us. Those are our demons. And we need to embrace our angelic parts. And I see this as when we see our demons, this is the time to let them go, to evaporate them, and embrace our angelic parts, which indeed are there as well. And overall, do as little harm as possible. Another way of saying this, the Taoist Master San Quing has put it this way in several of his writings. You are the master, keeper, creator of your reality. No word of Tao. Tao is out there, sort of like God out there. But that's not the creator of your reality. You are the master, keeper, creator of your reality. Okay, now I brought in the soul, but I think the soul is critical here, and I want to tell you how I see it and how this fits in. First of all, one of the ancient books, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, describes the soul's journey. So notice they're assuming you have a soul, and when you die, there's three stages of death. The moment of death, what they call the intermediate stage, and the stage of becoming. It serves as a guide, this book of death, for the soul and the deceased after leaving the body and before rebirth, providing teaches and practices to navigate this transition. So the idea of the soul, and it's the part of you which lives on and goes through the death and intermediate stage and the stage of becoming. And in their case, the book emphasizes the importance of awareness and guidance during this critical time to achieve liberation and enlightenment. And I think they would also say, if you believe in reincarnation, this is a time when you get to choose that. So this is happening at the soul level. Now, I'm going to talk more about the UCC, which is the universe of collective consciousness. Every thought, every conscious feeling, idea, past, present, and future, from all sentient beings in the past and the future, anywhere in the universe, because we all have consciousness. It's all in this UCC. Ingo Swann called it the Matrix. Some call it all that is, the Akashic Records. There's always been this concept of an all that is, a non-physical place that contains all consciousness. Now, your soul with a fuzzy boundary. You have a personal physical soul that lives in space-time energy. The reason this has this fuzzy boundary is your deepest soul is a personal spiritual soul that's in the UCC that is eternal and entangled with other souls. So this is your personal soul that during your day-to-day living in the physical world, every one of your conscious thoughts, feelings, happy, sad, angry, new ideas, remembrance of the past, remembrance of the future, whatever your consciousness, and consciousness is really only in the now, whatever you're experiencing, that's your personal physical soul, and it's here. But it is entangled with your spiritual soul. And this is a very, very strong entanglement. Here, it lives in space-time energy. It is most conscious in the now. It remembers things in the past, but it's remembering them in the now. Your soul remembers all of that, and it remembers, if you will, what's going to happen in the future as well, and with all the possibilities. So I think this idea of a physical soul and a spiritual soul, the spiritual soul is entangled with all the other souls, and your physical soul is entangled with it, but it has a fuzzy boundary. Going from there to your physical needs to go through your body somehow. And in doing that, it may very pick up blocks and demons. So you may not be getting the perfect message. So there is a distinction. But your soul, both of them are real, and it's yours. It's very personal. Okay, now let's get into this UCC, Universal Collective Consciousness, Akashic Records, all that is. This has got no boundary because this is like a circle without a boundary. If you try to think of something outside, you try to feel something outside, you've already brought it inside because everything which consciousness touches is in here. So this has no separations. It's oneness, harmony, perfect harmony in the blue. Now, your soul is here, as we've discussed, and it's in the physical world, and it's got a fuzzy boundary because it came from the UCC. Things, even your physical soul, can never be completely separated from the UCC. Therefore, your physical soul must have a fuzzy boundary entangling with your spiritual soul. So, physical souls are entangled via the UCC, the matrix, Akashic record, high, all in one, all is one is all. Um, but notice each of these have a fuzzy boundary, but they're entangled through the UCC, going down to the UCC, connecting up with any and all of these in there, and then coming back out. Okay, now here, notice no fuzzy boundaries. Here's your spiritual soul. Okay, but all spiritual souls, remember, spiritual soul, past, present, future, contains all of the physical soul information. So this is the matrix, Akashic record, all is one is all. But now I think this is the collection of all of these, okay? All the spiritual souls. Remember, this is past, present, future, anywhere in the universe. This is, I believe, a reasonable definition of God. You want to call that God? Okay, this kind of makes sense because it's the collection of all entangled spiritual souls. I mean, many um, religion, spiritual approaches won't even give a name for that, but we'll call it God. Now, this is the oneness. This is total harmony. So one is God. We are one. We are God. I am God. You are God. So this is another way of looking at the fact that indeed I am God and you are God. Since all the spiritual souls are in here, they're all entangled. Okay. I hope that's making some sense to you. Are there any questions here or comments? Okay, well, this is something which you sort of grok, you sort of begin to get, and the more you dwell on it, the more you get it. Let me now connect this to remote viewing. So the blue is this spiritual universe, non-physical, universal collective consciousness, matrix, Akashic record, etc. That's the blue. Fuzzy boundaries are entanglement with the spiritual universe. So the spiritual soul is here in the UCC directly. The one here is in the, so this is your physical soul. This is your spiritual soul. They're not the same. Somehow you have to come up from the UCC into the physical world. Now, I've listed and shown you here what I call events. Events are series of nows in the physical world. You get up in the morning and you have your cup of coffee. Getting up in the morning was an event. Having a cup of coffee was an event. You can think of your day as broken up into various events, rather maybe artificial, and yes, they connect, but nevertheless, imagine how many events you've had in your life. It's just as well that you can forget most of them, but the ones in the now are the ones which you might remember the best, and you can increase entanglement between events. So let's give an example. If one event is a remote viewing session and you're going to be doing one in the future, right here, and I think many of you have done them in the past, that is an event. You write down your coordinate. When you're done, you write enter session. That's your remote viewing event. Later, but time doesn't mean anything in terms of the UCC. So later, you have another event. That's your feedback event. That event now is entangled, and you can increase that entanglement. You can enhance it. And I want to give you now a better sense of how you enhance it. Certainly, it's we're going to apply it with intention and knowing of being God in the spiritual reality. So we've learned about the spiritual reality, intention and knowing of you being God in the spiritual reality connects these. Now, first, the spiritual you as the divine, the God of your consciousness, can increase this entanglement. Notice you're first doing this in the UCC. No fuzzy boundaries here. So your God consciousness can create a handshake with these two events and enhances the entanglement. And all it takes is intention. Here's my remote viewing. When I set that up, I intend to entangle it with the feedback. Well, certainly in the UCC, we are one, you're God there, that is doable. So you can enhance the entanglement there. Well, now you come up and the God of your consciousness increase entanglement in the physical world as well. Here we are in the physical world, and our God consciousness creates a handshake and can enhance the entanglement in the physical world. But what's important here, and what we are going to be doing, is trying to magnify that enhancement first here, basically by doing deep meditation, which will then increase the entanglement here. Okay. Questions? Now, I just want to put this in one other perspective. You are a thing, all of you, past, present, future, all of your now moments are in the UCC. Here's a perspective of the physical world, and you, same you, but in you is the spiritual. That's what that is, with its physical boundary. So here's you, and here's God. The concept of God, the ideas of God, put it in the UCC. Now, there's a very, very famous theorem called Gödel's theorem. That's anytime you have a system and you've defined that system pretty well, and I've defined a system here. Everything that consciousness touches is here. And yet I have to allow, just because of Gödel's theorem, that there may be something more outside that, kind of in the nothingness. Taoism talks a lot about nothingness, but I'm going to put God there. This idea of, some say that we pass from spirit into the physical at birth, and conversely pass from the physical world into spirit at death. I say that we never pass from the spirit. That comes from Skip Atwater, book Captain of My Ship, Master of My Soul. Again, Master of My Soul, you're God. And he headed the RV Army unit. I think people who get into this and are doing it just tend to become what I would say is spiritual. They might have different views of God, but they become spiritual. Okay, let's now. Okay, I said I'd take a half an hour, and indeed I did. So are there any? Well, that makes sense. Thank you, Deborah. It makes sense again at a level where you kind of hopefully just sort of get it, and it expands you, I believe. Okay, let's connect this to remote viewing. This one chart, when I put the subcharts on it, explain associative remote viewing in, I think, the deepest sense that I know how. Associate remote viewing starts with a classical remote viewing session. Describe it, sketch your, and to really be a remote viewing session, you have to have a feedback target. It has to be a possibility of the feedback target. You haven't seen it, but you imagine you are going to see it in the future. Okay, so this is the future. So this is like linear time. The feedback session is also very much like describe and sketch your feedback target, but now it's front loaded because you have it in front of you. So this is a front loaded session, but I believe it's great to do it the same way. Back in the SRI days, they'd go out to the physical site that was chosen at random, and the fellow who did the remote viewing session would go out with the judges, and this is where the session is judged against multiple possibilities. We use two, but there's a judging session in there. But it really begins here with the truth point. And we'll be doing a positive feedback. But they did that without knowing it. You go out to the session, and Joe McMonagle will say, "Oh, look, that's what I saw. That's what I saw. I wonder how I missed that." He's getting into his feedback target, the stuff he got right, and the stuff he might have missed. And he learned from that. And that's what we do with positive feedback. So this is classical remote viewing. Once you add the judging where you have multiple possibilities, that becomes associative remote viewing, where the possibilities, for example, in our baseball game, we're going to be over a total score or under a total score. And so you need a judge to look at the transcripts, and then he'll make a determination. So precog really begins with the feedback session. Now you've got the truth point. Now you can light it up, if you will. We know in the UCC, time doesn't matter. It's all there, past, present, and future. So here it is. This information goes down to your subconscious. it gets shared with your subconscious here. This involves entanglement energy, which is focused intention, positive expectation, joyful emotion. Those are the things which can increase the entanglement energy the most. I mean, this really isn't magic. If you think of these things, it makes good sense that the intention is really important. You intend both here and here to entangle these two sessions. Ultimately, and this is very good and important to remember and kind of amazing, all of this comes from the spiritual, the universe of collective consciousness, where all this information is contained, and it shares that information. Again, this is outside of space and time, so it is sharing it here and here, knowing the full level of the information. So that's how you can get these amazing remote viewing and ARV sessions, because the information indeed is transmitted through the spiritual. So we are about to do this. And if you are not already a member of the webinar workshop, let's give me your name, email address, and I'll put you in there. So in the chat box, put your email address and I'll add you as a member. So all of you are members. Deborah, I'm not sure. That's fine. If you're not sure, it'll let me know. It'll let us know. So let's put you in here. Okay. Ron, Monica, Simona, your names look familiar. I'm going to soon give you another moment to give me your email if you're not sure. Okay. So let me directly add Deborah. I hate doing this in front of people. Okay, member of the workshop group. So let's directly add you. I am not a robot. No, I think I am a quantum mechanical robot. Ah, okay. It looks like I just added you. You should get an email. Right. Let's just make us both feel real comfortable about it. Yep, there you are, Deborah. So you're now a member of this group. That means I send taskings to the group ahead of time, and sometimes people like to do it. Okay, so there we are there. Now, this is the tasking which was set out. Tasking, somebody left. Doesn't matter. They're certainly welcome to left. They came probably for the topic discussion, which is great. And here's a typical one. And if Deborah, you may not be in any other groups, and if you would like to be after you finish this, just let me know. and I'll put you in other groups, or I'll have somebody put you in other groups. But this is a typical tasking, and this shows, in this case, the group. It's the it shows it's a Major League Baseball game, Los Angeles Angels and New York Yankees. I added that the game was rained out, but it looks like the games today will still be at the second one at 4:05. And then there's a link. And the intention is to describe and or sketch your, and you'll see in a moment, you'll get a target a number, unique one, and then the intention is, will the total score be over or under the bookmaker's prediction? So describe and or sketch your target. And here's the game status. We're set. Now, I am now going to click that link. Others of you already have it. I am going to put in a test email since I'm not going to be doing this. Okay. So what I want to give you is this one. So when you click, okay, good. Good. Yeah, I have several. So that's great, Deborah. But by clicking this, you're clicking the one which we're doing today. So click that, all of you. And the other one you're in, Deborah, will look just like this, but it'll have the other group name here. And all you do is click this. We've made this really, truly user-friendly. So once you click that, then you'll get a page like this. So all of you should have a page like this now. And put your email address in it, and you'll get a page like this with, and I've covered the one here for tests, but you should have your coordinate, your target reference number. Some people call them TRNs. Okay, if you do not, if you're not this far and you're running into some trouble, let me know right now. Okay. You can't open that link, the one right there. Let me see if I can open it. Eight seven, yeah, that's the right one. Right, a double click is not opening it. Huh. Yes, you use that one. Oh, here. When I put my thing on it, I have the option of edit or open link. That's the first time I've seen that. Usually you double click it. So highlight it, you'll see edit and open link. Click open link, and there it is. So go ahead and do that and see if that worked for you. Highlight it. Or I clicked it once. Click it once, and you'll get open link. Don't worry about the email. If you go here to this page and click on this once, and then click on open link, you'll be okay. Can you get to your chat? Okay, okay, so you're in your chat box. What happens when you click this once? When you click this once, just one click, do you see edit and open link? When you click it once, nothing happens. Really? So what do you get when you click it once? Nothing, it just stays there? That happens to me when I click it twice. Try clicking it once again. Nada, no joy. Okay. Let me see if I can put this again in the chat box. Or oh, okay. Ron got it. Deborah, did you get it? Ron got it. He was having a problem, but he says okay now. So now, Deborah, you're still a problem. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to email it to you. Hey, Deborah, give me your email. Oh, no, I should have it up here. Hold on. There you are. Gosh. Let's see. Okay. So let's see if this will give you some joy. And definitely, since it's the first time here, and this is training. So I sent it to you. Okay, and when I click it, I do get it. Did you get it in your email, Deborah? Deborah, are you with me? Deborah, at least talk to me. You having trouble with your email? Deborah. Oh, your mic is off for one thing. Oh, there you are, Deborah. Your mic is off. Hey, you got it. Okay. So now we're in good shape. Okay, so everybody is at this level where it says test. Then you put in your email because that's where I'm going to send the feedback. So put in your email and you will get this page, which has actually the two, well, almost the two meditations we're going to do. So you can always get those there. And now we're about to start. So on a new sheet of paper, you have your coordinate, your TRN, put it on the top left of your page. Do your preliminaries, name, date, time, webinar, workshop group. You might say the coordinate out loud. On the right is where what we call analytical overlays. Now, one of the real benefits of doing this kind of work is you get a feeling which is different when the stuff is coming up from the UCC through your subconscious as opposed to your intellect. If it's coming in through your intellect, if it's analytical, hey, that's okay. Sometimes it's even right, but just put it on the right side of the sheet of paper. That gets rid of it so you can go and get more information from your subconscious. So we're getting ready to do it. Drop your intellect, be with your subconscious. Here's your intention. Describe and or sketch your feedback target. Tell that to your internal self. Set a clear, focused intention. Describe and or sketch your feedback target. Describe and or sketch your feedback target. You can give the number. Describe and sketch your feedback target. Okay, here's what we're about to do. You set your intention. Joe McMonagle, one of the best remote viewers in the world, says cool down is very important. He used to take a long time, but now he can do it in like less than 5 minutes or 5 minutes. We're going to do something which is going to extend that to get all of you in a good cool down state. Tom McNear does a silent prayer to God, again, acknowledging the importance of that. What we're about to do is our first cool down will be a meditation from Stephen Wright. It's an I am meditation, will get you very deep. And then 7 more minutes of a meditation. Here, your only job is to say, I am, which you're going to get from here. I am, I am. All of us veer, and that's the point. When you catch yourself veering, go back to I am, I am. That's deepening you, deepening you. Difficult to go 7 minutes without having other thoughts, feelings. When they come in, you go back to I am. And then, and I will tell you when this 11 minutes are over, then you quickly just do your transcript. It'll just come to you. No thinking. You just take what you get from your deep God self and be an honest witness to what comes up from the UCC through your subconscious. Your ego intellect only job is to maintain the transcript. And then when you're done, then I'll remind you of this, you send the transcript to me. Okay? What's your intention? Describe and or sketch my feedback target. And here are the meditations.
So let us take some words into meditation, repeated simple phrases. First of all, just allow yourself to repeat. Do not be afraid. Imagine that is being said to you by your wise teacher that you acknowledge, Jesus, your Buddha nature, the Prophet, Allah, the universe, nature. But somewhere echoing around the universe is that deep-seated voice that says, don't be afraid. And perhaps as we touch into that phrase of don't be afraid, we recognize that as human beings, we exist on many planes of existence, from our mortal frame, our minds and bodies, to an aspect of our being that is immortal. the soul, our essence. Each of us, during our lives, may touch into that truth. It may sometimes seem far away, sometimes may seem close. Some of us may live it moment by moment, recognizing that we are not just who we think we are. We're not our roles, our identities. So be open now, deep in our consciousness, deep in the unconscious. Allow ourselves to say quite simply, I am. Breathe in the word, I. Breathe out the word, am. Just sit for a moment, breathing, I am. Encouraging the sense of simply being. No need for an addition that I am this, or I am that, or I'm experiencing this. But I am open to, receptive to the deepest, very core of our being. This I amness has been said throughout time in all traditions. It is eternal. It is immortal. We open ourselves, are receptive to our essential nature, which does not know death. The we who we think we are may pass away, the world may pass away, but it is only one plane of consciousness. Deep in the very core of our being is the immortal I amness, which all beings, all life, all creation possesses. And as we touch into that essential I amness, as we breathe in the word I, breathe out the word am. We remember that those are the very words when asked, who are you of the divine? That is exactly what the divine says. I am. And we say, I am. And all beings say, I am. The whole universe is saying, I am.
Okay, that's about your 5 minutes. If that first initial dump is usually the most valuable, at the end of your transcript, you can write end. However, if you feel there's more good stuff, go ahead and finish it. So do send your transcript to me because that's what I'm going to use to judge against the two possible outcomes, one being over and the other being under. And so let's see. Okay, I've got Simona's. Thank you, Simona. And Ron and Deborah, do you need more or want more time? Or are you in the process of sending it to me? Because I know that does take some time. So just let me know what's going on. Okay, good. So then attach your transcript, Deborah, to an email and send it to me. And Ron, what's your status? If you're still doing a transcript, that's fine. Okay. I see your email, Deborah. Did you put anything on paper? Or are you just describing the images you saw? Putting things on paper definitely helps the analyst. You've given me enough, so I will use it as it is, but in the future, just take the words, for example, write them down. And, in this case, Ayers Rock, Australia, kangaroos, plains of red. There were no other details. Usually you can get more than that. But if not, okay. Um, okay. In fact, just so you can see, and well, I don't want you to see Ron yet. Ron, how are you doing? Oh, I know, I do have an example I can show you. So you sent me the transcript. We're going to get into positive feedback, but here's an example of positive feedback, which is sort of an ideal transcript, knowing the target, but not knowing the target. Notice there's usually a sketch of some sort. Of course, this sketch is excellent because this was after she saw the target, and then words. So your transcript would have words and some sort of sketch of what you saw. Yeah, getting out of meditation is for 7 minutes. Very few people can stay there without getting external thoughts. Obviously, yours was about the target and you asked a question, that's okay. But then hopefully you got right back into it. Showing that you're going back into it reinforces the intent. And even if, when you get a little bit more experience, you'll just have some thoughts that'll come in about your day, about something somebody said, set it aside and get back into I am, I am, I am. Um, all of that is reinforcing and going deeper. Okay, Ron seemed to have lost you. I presume you're doing a long transcript, which is fine. I will judge it. But I'm going to go ahead and you keep doing your transcript. So what is next now is the feedback, which is going to come after the game. So at this point, the two possible targets, one for over, one for under, have not even been chosen. This is true precognition. The computer will choose it after I get all the transcripts. So I may do it depending on how long Ron takes, but doesn't matter. They'll be random. And here's an example now of what you'll do when you get your feedback after the game. You will get a target picture and you will do positive feedback and put PFB on the page with your coordinate and then your name and time and the webinar. And notice Simona on this one took 4 minutes. And I think this is the most important session, and it's not the amount of time, it's kind of the intensity. Imagine Joe McMonaco was looking at a picture of this. Oh, wow, look at this. He might pretend to touch it. Notice sharp. Now you're saying the word, but you're not only saying the word, you're like feeling it. You can use your fingers and touch it, and you can feel how unsmooth it is. And yes, it's hard. And this is live. This is some sort of bacterial thing. And you got the colors and rounded and black and natural, but you just make it as real as you can. As I say, use your sense of touch. I don't know if there'd be a smell. Sometimes there's a smell associated with it, and actually imagine the smell. But in this case, the main thing is like sharp, rough, hard to touch. But she did sharp, hard, live like. So this is a perfect example. And remember, this is the positive feedback. So you'll be doing this sometime after 4 o'clock. When I get the results, I'll send it out probably by 4:15. No, the game starts at 4. The game will probably go until 7 o'clock Pacific time. And it's only then I'll be able to at 7 or so, I'll be able to do the feedback, but it takes the game must end. Okay, now I'm going to write the protocol here. Always do it on your transcript. And I don't know if you want to take notes for this or copy the screen, but it's not very hard. After you do it a few times, it becomes natural. You want to circle or mark the matches on your transcript, the good stuff. Enjoy that. Hey, yes, I got this, I got that. So on your transcript, mark the good stuff. And then on a new sheet of paper, you're going to do a front-loaded remote viewing session, the one you wish you had done had you been perfect, seeing it. And you're going to do it. Some people do a lot more than Simona did, but you don't have to. She captured it all very simply. And that's the idea, because when you do your remote viewing, your ARV session, we usually like it to be on 1 page or 2 pages. So it's like that first download. And, if you get the accurate stuff, the big picture stuff, that's all we want. But it is what it is. If you feel comfortable doing more than a page, go ahead. But the thing is, on this new sheet of paper, you write positive feedback, your coordinate number, and you do the session you wish you had done. If you didn't get a good sketch, if you did, you can repeat it, but now you can do a new sketch. And usually relatively simple is enough. That's visual. If there's sounds, touch, smell, taste, feelings, emotions that come when you see the actual picture, put them down and know that you're sharing them with the remote viewing session. That's your intention. So you have the same intention here. Start this session with the intention to describe and sketch the feedback target. And if there are any new words, phrases, put them down. And enjoy this. Consciously enjoy this. Positive emotions and feelings. Add love and joy. You can never have too much love and joy. When you get on to the other side, when you get to your spiritual soul, and get to relive your physical life, aren't you going to want as much joy and love? So add some joy and love during this process. Let's see. I don't know what's happened to Ron. Well, we're going to finish this and hopefully he'll send me his transcript. Okay, now remember, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings coming from the godlessness, the spiritual of us. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, which broadens our spiritual self. Sort of an amazing thing. How it happened, I don't know. None of us really know. Fortunately, there are still mysteries, and there always will be. Okay, I wish health, wealth, and wisdom to all of us. But the greatest wealth indeed is health. You certainly don't want to go out just for money. Nothing wrong with money, but you need to do it for a good purpose. But it's really health, wealth, and wisdom. And then love, wisdom, beauty, joy. When I went to the Monroe Institute, I went through 4 pools as part of a meditation, guided meditation, and those are the 4 words that came to me. And they're still so meaningful, I think, to everybody. So I wish love, wisdom, beauty, joy to all of you. Only love gives us a taste of eternity. Love has reasons which reason cannot understand. Okay, that is indeed the end of my presentation. Thank you for joining me. And if you do have any questions or comments, please share them now or share them in a separate email to me. You have my email address. You can always get a hold of me that way. You're certainly welcome, Deborah. Okay, so I think I will end this now. I can